Was Charlie Kirk's security team involved in his assassination? Why don't they have blood on their hands as they're treating Charlie's initial gunshot wound? Did one of the members of his security team fire a palm pistol at him? We're going to look at all of these questions today, arguments from both sides, as well as testimony from the actual head of Charlie Kirk's security team that just dropped. We're going to look at the reaction to that footage, as well as some genuine questions that I still have around Charlie Kirk's assassination and the events after. The biggest question that I had right away was, the FBI said a 30-06 was used to shoot Charlie. This is going to be a very devastating round. I actually did a video, it's quite popular, recreating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which I will throw up for you guys right now if you want to check that out. But going into some other theories here on his security team, the biggest one that I've seen all over X, a lot of people talking about, is the palm pistol theory, saying that this guy, and this is the frame right before Charlie was shot, this guy right here, people say shot him with a palm pistol. Okay, they think that pistol was right here in his hand. Now, first of all, I want to point out, a palm pistol is like a 150-year-old gun. It's like an Old West thing for people that are like playing a game of poker or something, to have a gun concealed in their hand. The barrel of them actually stick out like that far. Okay, so we're saying that this guy potentially used a modified palm pistol with a barrel like an inch long. Okay, first things first, it's not probably going to be accurate out. I mean, this distance right here is probably like 10-15 feet. It's not going to be accurate out to that distance. It's going to give you a grouping of like, I don't know, 5 inches or something out to that. I mean, a barrel that big is going to be extremely inaccurate. Okay. Additionally, if that barrel is recessed into your hand and your fingers are covering it, once it goes off, hot bits of gunpowder come out of the barrel as well as the bullet. Okay, so you're probably going to get powder burnt on your fingers. All right, and it's going to hurt. And you're also running the risk of shooting your fingers with that bullet. Okay, it's very, very unsafe. If you were going to do something like this, first of all, they wouldn't use one of the members of Charlie's security team. They would use one of these other 3,000 people in the audience. You know, they would use something that looks like a camera, maybe modified to be a gun. You know, like this. They wouldn't have one of the 10 members of Charlie's security in the audience fire a gun at him. Okay, though there's hundreds of cameras pointed at this guy. I mean, just think about how absurd that is. Like, let's use somebody that everyone is going to focus on to be the assassin. Okay, again, I have a whole video debunking this too. I can't play these clips or else I'll get this video demonetized, but I'll throw that video up. It's a YouTube short. It's like 30 seconds long. Completely debunks this. There's multiple people that are standing by this guy that look up in this direction. Okay, and if a gun goes off right next to you, all of these people would immediately look at this guy. Okay, you would see a muzzle flash. All right, guns produce a muzzle flash when they go off. We don't see a muzzle flash here. Now, the only way that could happen, that you could not see a muzzle flash on this, would be if this guy had a flash hinderer, or, you know, on his palm pistol. Which now you're talking about even less of a barrel, because you've got a flash hinderer on there, right? So just leave this guy alone. He's not shooting a palm pistol at Charlie. That's just stupid. Some people think he has a detonator here, and like there was an exploding microphone on Charlie. That's really, really stupid too, because some sort of explosion would rip Charlie's shirt apart. It would be obvious that a bomb went off on him. People talk about how Charlie's shirt jumped. That's actually because he has a corded mic that he's wearing, and the shockwave of him getting hit sent a shockwave through that corded mic and caused it to do some weird things under his shirt. So, guys, if you're enjoying my analysis of this, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. I try not to be a sensationalism YouTube channel, and your support in that way, likes on the video, really, really help push this kind of content past the more sensational YouTube channels. So if you appreciate that, please like and subscribe. Next, we're going to look at this video of Ian Carroll's live. He's got it with Sticky Green Beret and Valhalla here. And they're going to be talking about the lack of blood on Charlie's hands and some questions around that. So we're going to watch this, and then we're going to watch a video of Paramount Tactical, who actually recreated this scenario that they're talking about here. First, let's watch this here, because I watched Ian Carroll's live, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. There's no blood on their hands. What's going on? So let's watch this, and then we're going to watch Paramount Tactical's recreation of this event here.
So now we're talking about Charlie's bodyguards and the medical care that Charlie received on camera right after this gunshot wound. A lot of people were analyzing like the hand signals and all of these like very subjective things.
I just want to point out the hand signals too. Charlie right before he's assassinated, one of his guards goes like this, the other goes like this, and people were saying, "Oh my gosh, they're signaling the sniper." That seems kind of silly, because why would you put the people that are right there that, again, all these cameras are focused in on his security team? It's really silly to think that his security team that has all these cameras on them are going to be signaling the sniper and all this kind of stuff. Just want to point that out.
About the bodyguards, which, is perfectly suspicious if you want it to be, but it's also not really like concrete and super provable in any given direction. So I'm of the mind to find things, to look at things that are like 100% mean something, or are at least could be investigated in a concrete way. And let's just listen to these guys for just a second, and then we'll dive into this.
Charlie Kirk, after he was shot, man, this is so bizarre. But we have to cover it, because this is something that's really not been talked about, other than my buddy Dan, Heavy Duty Country. This is his video that he put out. And when I saw this, and Alex, I know I showed you this already, I was just immediately like, oh, this is sketchy. So we're going to watch that. We're going to watch that next, guys. Just watch their hands, right? All these guys are supposed to be treating Charlie Kirk. He just got shot in the...
All right, so just for some context here, here's the guy that just interviewed with Shawn Ryan. He's the head of Charlie's security team. He came out and said he was the one that jumped on top of Charlie and started treating that gunshot wound. He's packing stuff into that gunshot wound. And then these guys... They exfilled Charlie within 16 seconds. They evac'd him. Okay, exfil is another word for evacuation, because they don't know if this is a live fire event. More bullets could be coming. So the first thing this guy does, and you will see that, he will direct somebody to go to the car and prep the car. These people are here, these other two members of his security team are here to shield Charlie's body from more bullets coming in. So that's what they're doing. You can't have 2 or 3 people sticking their fingers into a gunshot wound, okay? He's the one that's sticking his fingers into Charlie's neck. These guys don't have blood on their hands because they're not doing that. So let's watch.
Throat in the carotid. As we watch this. And the guy there.
So you're watching their hands, right? Watch the hands of the bodyguards and see if you can figure out what we're talking about here.
In the center. We'll see in a second.
So also note that this clip is just like, it's going forward 3 seconds and back 3 seconds. It's not like a one continuous thing.
So we've seen the hands of the guy on the left and the guy on the right.
His hands there.
There's the guy in the...
And now they're backing up, okay? Now what this video did was back up and show when the head of his security right here first got to the car, or first got to Charlie. And what he's doing is, with this point here, he's telling this guy, go get the car ready. So he hasn't done anything to Charlie yet. He jumped on top of him. Maybe his other hand is on Charlie's neck, and he's saying, go get the car ready. All right, and then here's the other thing that comes up in Ian's live here. They show this picture of the scene of the crime, essentially, after it happened, and they say that there's no blood on the ground here. All right, so after I first saw Ian's live there, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? But like I said, thinking about it some more, they keep playing the same clip. They keep going forward 3 seconds and back 3 seconds, and the guy who's actually treating the wound, his hands are down there. He's not lifting his hands up. That's why you're not seeing any blood. And initially, when you see him point, back like this, he's saying, go to the car. Then he puts his hands down. You never see them again. And then when they're actually exfilling Charlie, when they're carrying him to the car, he has his hands, the head of his security has his hands on Charlie's neck. You don't see them. So let's look at Paramount Tactical's video that he did, which Paramount Tactical, if you're watching this, shout out to you for subbing to the channel. He actually subscribed to me after I did the assassination recreation, so pretty cool there. Paramount Tactical actually did subscribe to me, but he puts out a great video, and he's Paramount Tactical, he runs classes where he teaches people first aid. So he's very, very knowledgeable about this. I'm sure Valhalla and Sticky Green Beret are knowledgeable as well, but Paramount Tactical is actually a bona fide expert in this field. So we're going to watch him recreate that first aid situation that Charlie's security team was doing, and it's very cool. Let's watch. The first thing he's going to do is dump this thing of blood on the ground so we can see what a bunch of blood on the ground looks like. And then he's got a little device that looks like some sort of sex toy that I guess is used to simulate this kind of injury. So we're going to watch him recreate this. It's very, very cool.
All right, so we're going to start this training scenario. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to dump this blood all over the ground and everywhere else. You guys see how much of this fake blood, and this fake blood, folks, by the way, it's actually worse than real blood. It will stain your hands, it gets on stuff, all the other.
I can attest to this. The assassination recreation that I did, that fake dummy that I shot had this fake blood in it. I got it on my hands, and that stuff stayed on there for like 3 or 4 days. It was a long time I had this blood on my hands, so he's absolutely right on how bad this fake blood is.
All right, so we did that. Now we're going to bring you around over here. Again, you can see that was a lot of blood. There's some on the table. There's some down here. It was a lot of blood. But when you have blood on the ground, it's actually pretty hard to see. All right, so here's our wound packing trainer, all right? And kind of approximate of where Charlie was in relation to the table and everything else, right? So I got some blood on my hands already just from grabbing the stuff where it splashed on there. That's fine. And again, unlike real blood, this stuff doesn't really wipe off. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my assistant come around here, and he's gonna be squeezing this bottle fairly hard, all right? We're gonna hold it upside down. He's gonna squeeze this bottle fairly hard. All right, so go ahead and start squeezing that pretty hard. All right, and we see blood pulling up, it's coming out. Even in a real world scenario, I'm trying to find that bleed, and I'm trying to mechanically stop it, all right, with my fingers. So I'm reaching in there with my fingers, and I'm going to try to stop that bleed. He's squeezing this, and there's probably more blood flow coming out of this, but again, I am mechanically stopping, I'm squishing down and stopping the bleed, and this is how you would do this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start what we call a power ball, and I'm gonna put this in here, all right, and what I'm trying to do is press that down onto the vessel itself. And we're gonna start packing this, and I'm just replacing what I got. And I want you to notice, okay, and when we're doing this, folks, I'm doing this slow and I'm talking through this, right? But when we're doing this, what we teach people is, hey, we attack the wound. We're being aggressive with this. All right, so we're attacking this wound and we're putting a lot of pressure on here and trying to stop that bleeding. And what we're trying to do is compress those blood vessels. And I want you to notice how many people can work on this. How many people can work on this one wound? Only one. We can only get so many fingers in there all at once. So I'm continuing to put this in. We're packing this. I'm being aggressive about it, but we are filling every bit of void in there to stop the bleeding. All right, that's what we're doing. Right now, there's nothing that anyone else can do. All they can do is help me, essentially, right? So they're helping me. They may be assessing the rest of the casualty, but this person right here is completely dedicated to this and this only. This is all we can do right now. And I'm gonna continue to press all of this gauze, or as much as I need to make sure that we stop this bleeding. We already got one full roll in there, okay? And this is hard work, all right? It's hard to do it correctly. We're getting it in there, all right? And I've already stopped the bleeding. He's still squeezing that bottle. I want you guys to see this. Look, he's compressed this bottle to the point to where, again, he's been squeezing the crap out of it, all right? So we just continue to push this down. We fill every void that we possibly can. So now we end up with this right here, all right? So we end up with this right here. Now I also have to start considering that we're actually gonna evac this person. We're gonna move this person. If I let pressure off of this at all right, all the work that I've done to stop the bleeding and compress those vessels is gonna be done. All right, so now that we got the wound packed and the bleeding stopped, like I have to maintain this. If we disturb any of this, the bleeding is gonna start again and everything we've done has been a waste of time. So how do we put compression on this, on a neck wound, and get a patient ready to move? Well, that's a great question. I'm gonna show you. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna set this off to the side, and my training part.
All right, look at the mark that he left in the grass. It's not that big. As he said, this fake blood stains much worse than real blood. That's not a big mark that was just left there. And if you remember, the picture that Ian showed us was kind of grainy, not very good. To me, this seems plausible. Why there's no blood in that picture that Ian showed us? Well, he just treated a massive gunshot wound, very similar to what Charlie would have had, and this is what it left. So keep that in mind. Very good video by Paramount Tactical. Highly, if you've got any sort of theories on why there's no blood or whatever, I would highly recommend watching that video that Paramount did. Very, very eye-opening. Next, we're going to move on to the Shawn Ryan interview of the head of Charlie Kirk's security team. If you have any sort of questions around Charlie Kirk's security team, you think they were involved at all, you need to watch this Shawn Ryan interview with the head of his security, because this guy is extremely real. He's as real as it gets. He's not a media guy. He's not a PR guy. He's very uncomfortable in this interview. And I want to point this out, there is no reason that he has to come on here and do this interview. If he was guilty in any way, he would not sit down with Shawn Ryan for almost 3 hours and talk about this event and expose himself to body language analysis and all this kind of stuff. He breaks down in tears several times during this interview, okay? If he was guilty, there's no need to do that. He would just not do an interview or whatever. But this guy, he's very real during this interview. And another thing that he talks about is Charlie's security team spent so much time with him. Like, they were friends with him. They went to dinners together. They were with each other more than they were probably with their family because Charlie toured so much. So, you're really accusing this guy and his team of betraying one of their closest friends who they actually believed in. They believed in his message. They're all Christians. They're religious. They believed in the teachings that Charlie Kirk was preaching. Okay, so keep that in mind, that it'd be like if somebody accused you of murdering your best friend, essentially. So keep that in mind. But here we're going to see this guy's actually going to break down what we just saw Paramount Tactical do. This guy's going to actually describe the shooting and what happened right after, and you're going to get to hear it from his own words. Very cool. Let's take a listen.
And so I've got my back to Charlie about, I don't know, less than 10 meters off to his right. And my area of responsibility, we had a lot of people coming up some staircases there, and it was starting to fill in. And so I was watching that, and I remember I heard the gunfire, and then I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard that bullet slap him. And so you hear two sounds, actually. And so you hear the actual shot, and then you hear the bullet hit him in the neck, like you hear it. And so in my head, I had an attribution to that. Oop, I know what that is. And so I turned, and when I turned, started running, that's when Dan grabbed him. And, I mean, this is a live fire event. It's not, everybody thinks in hindsight, well, this is a one-shot assassination. No, in our heads, there's
You
fire.
don't know what that is.
There's fire. There's more to come, right? And so Dan grabs Charlie, and then...
Who's Dan?
Dan was the guy standing right next to Charlie when he got shot on the stage. And then I was to the right of Dan.
Okay.
And so he grabs him, and then I turn and see him start to the ground. But then I'm just thinking gunfire. and he's leading to the ground because I'm on his right. Well, he was shot right here in the left of his neck. And so I jumped down on top of Charlie to cover him because where we're at, it's concealment at best. It's a tabling with cloth on it, so it's not hard cover. Our guys are starting piling back in, and they're down, putting a human shield around him, but it's still just concealment. It's not cover.
So that's what Charlie's team was doing. This guy is on top of Charlie, packing that wound. The other members of Charlie's security team are there around him to provide human shield cover to Charlie. They're using their own bodies to shield Charlie from more gunshots because, like he says here, they don't know that it's just a one-shot event. You can see in hindsight, it was just one gunshot. Why didn't you guys treat him right there? Why didn't you guys do this? They think maybe there's more bullets coming, and so that's why they're doing that.
And so I initially dove down on top of him and just was on him almost face to face. And then when I was doing that, I went down, I could see the wound. And so I immediately shoved my hand into the wound to stop the bleeding, just trying to find the pressure. And it was coming out still. And I'm on top of him, like close. And it was still coming out enough that it squirted through my fingers and I could taste it on my lips. And so I was like, man, this is a bad wound, right? And so I was just pushing that, and I don't know at that time. I know when you look at the clock, I was on him within 5 seconds and had my hands in him. And then I don't know when I put the first piece of medical on him. It was sometime after that, because I carry it right here, and that's why you carry it on you. You got to have it there. So. But then I remember pulling back away and thinking, damn, this is bad. Like, it's coming out. And I don't remember saying this, but the guys told me, and you can kind of see it on the video. I said, prep the car. And I just prepped, and you see the two guys just take off. And that car's prepped in position, but doors are open, yeah. The whole deal. And so we're doing pressure control there, and it's a carotid artery, so you can't put a tourniquet on it, obviously. And in my head, I'm like, pack pressure, pray, man. These are what you can do for that wound. But then, so I'm on top, and then I told the guys, we got to exfil. We're all out here in the open. We're trying to give wound care, and we got to get off this X, right? And so. But I just said, we're exfilling. And so we got up. I think it was like...
Exfil is another term for evacuation. The reason he doesn't say evacuation, I actually looked this up. Evacuation is like a general term for the public, like if you evacuate a city or whatever. Exfil is short for exfiltration, and it's a military term. It's like more tactical and more precise. It's like about a specific group of, like, small group of people that need to get out of somewhere. It's more of a tactical term, but what he's saying is, hey guys, there's more bullets coming. We got to get the hell out of Dodge.
15, 16 seconds from the time the shot happened to the time we were picking him up and heading.
Now notice what he said there too. 15 to 16 seconds after Charlie is shot, they make an assessment of the situation, render some first aid, and they're picking him up and carrying him to the car. If I want you to think about this, if you were out somewhere and one of your friends gets shot, and how long would it take you to realize what happened, administer first aid, and you and your buddies pick him up and take him out? 15 to 16 seconds, you'd probably still be picking your jaw up off the floor after seeing what had happened. Okay, so give this guy and his team some credit. 15 to 16 seconds, make an assessment, pick Charlie up. They're getting out of there after rendering first aid.
15 to 16 seconds.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. And so...
That's fast.
Yeah, and this is horrible, but...
It's fast to get an initial assessment, plug a hole, pick them up, move them.
Yeah, and so it's just like, dang. And it's some horrible realities of it, too, that, like, I told the guys this, and I haven't... when I jumped down on him, he had doll's eyes. And so I was like, man, these are wounds incompatible with life.
You know.
Yeah.
You want to take a break? Let's take a break.
I'm going to point this out again. This man, the head of Charlie's security, did not have to come on the Shawn Ryan show and do this interview. And you can see the humanity of this man bleed through several times in this interview. Again, he's not a lot of people that go on these podcasts. People don't realize, first of all, people don't realize how hard it is to talk in front of a camera knowing other people are going to watch, okay? I'm just a naturally chatty guy, so I'm kind of naturally inclined to it. This guy is not, okay? And for him to come on here, he's awkward throughout the interview in a few moments. He's not a PR guy. He's probably nervous, the situation, knowing millions of people are going to be watching him. And he breaks down emotionally several times in this, real emotion that you can see. So, again, people that have these theories on Charlie's security team, watch this interview, listen to him discuss the events, watch him say it, look at the micro expressions on his face, and then come back and tell me that you think this man was complicit in the murder of one of his best friends.
You want a minute?
Good. Sorry about that, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's fine.
So we get back to that, and so I'm down on him, and I don't know if when it sprayed me in the face, it caused me to flinch back or what, but then sometime around then I said, hey, prep the car, and you see two of the guys just take off towards the car, and then Gibby and Rick and Dan and I said, hey, let's exfil now. And so we get up, and the timeline on that's like 15, 16 seconds, something like that, where you can see we're prepping. But the problem is direct pressure, right? So when you're in a medical deal, and you've been in I've had these before on major accidents and GSWs when you show up on causes, you can't give direct pressure and move, right, in exfil. And you have to have counters, like giving CPR. You can't give people CPR like that. You have to have something. So it's like, hey, okay, well, let's just get in the car.
You can't.
Yeah, but then it's
You can't apply direct pressure to move either, because it's the neck, and there goes the airway.
right. And so
And it's just it's damn near the worst.
and then like
place.
and then you don't give first aid when it's raining on you still, right? Or this first shot, second shot, how many more is coming in? So and so I was like, hey, let's just call for exfil. So I called for exfil. And so let's go.
So there you have it. The head of Charlie's security would have been the only guy that would have had a substantial amount of blood on his hands, and you don't see that because he's got his hands around Charlie's neck, keeping that medical that he just applied in that neck wound. Okay, that's the same thing that Paramount Tactical said. You can't take your hands off of it because then all that gauze and shit just runs right out. Okay, so the head of Charlie's security has his hands on Charlie's neck as they exfil him, and the rest of them are just carrying Charlie and doing this, but they were around him to initially provide a shield for bullets, and then they pick him up and carry him. That's why they don't have blood all over them. So I'll say it again, people just kind of need to leave the head of Charlie's security and his security team alone. There's a lot of really good things in that Shawn Ryan interview. There's some questions that the head of Charlie's security brings up. The few of the main things that I caught from it are they wanted to fly a drone around. Charlie's security team did. They weren't allowed to because of the rules at the UVU campus. And he brings up that the UVU campus police could have requested the Orem City Police, which that's the city in Utah, Orem. They could have requested the city police to come in and fly their own drone that they had, but they never did that. And so he's kind of like, why wasn't this done? Why didn't the campus police request this? So that's very interesting. another thing that I found very, very interesting, and we're going to look at actually Candace Owens. This is the only thing that I can see that Candace Owens reacted to on this Shawn Ryan interview, was this text message exchange between the head of Charlie's security and the head of the UVU campus police, where the head of Charlie's security identified a rooftop right in front of the Losi Center, which the Losi Center is where allegedly the shooter took the shot from. The head of Charlie's security wanted to place one of his guys or a UVU officer on a rooftop in front of that Losi Center, essentially. So if there was an officer there, they would have seen Tyler Robinson. That basically the shooting wouldn't have happened if there was a person up there. So he identified, the head of Charlie's security identified this vulnerability and tried to do something about it. And we're going to see that in his text message exchange. And we're also going to see Sassy Candace's reaction to this. So let's watch.
On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well, if possible. He comes back, and his last correspondence was, I got you covered. What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, I've got this area. Jeez.
Please pick me. Okay. When you're like in school and you got to hold your hand up because you really want a teacher to see you, I have an answer for what else you could have done. You could have followed up because it's your job and Charlie paid you millions of dollars not to pass the buck. No. Also, you asked the police chief an either or question. And I'm just kind of like trying to understand the basic construct of sentences. He said, got you covered. What does that mean? It was an either or question. Either provide us access.
Pick me. So Candace isn't really being fair here. It's, first of all, hindsight's always 20/20. It's so easy for her to go and look back and say, well, you should have followed up on that. Okay. But first of all, Candace doesn't exist in this world of, military operators and security. How much blame do you want to place on this guy for not following up? This, as he said, a command level individual said, I got you covered. When you're in the military and you need covering fire or you need suppressing fire, you're pinned down and you want to move somewhere else, and somebody says, I got you covered. That means when you start running, they're going to stand up and they're going to start shooting at whatever's shooting at you so you could make it to the other side. Okay, I got you covered is like a 100%, I have got your back. I'm aware. I got you covered means I'm aware that your life is in my hands, and I don't take that lightly. I will do what I have been entrusted to do. Okay, that's what that means. Another thing is Charlie's security team, they go to multiple of these events every year. They're constantly doing this. They're constantly providing security. And it's very easy to say, well, this one situation, you should have done your job. You should have done more. How deep do you want to go in blaming this guy? I really think, and that's Candace's like only response to this. And Candace is like the primary question asker, the primary, like the mainstream conspiracy person on this. Like she's who everyone's kind of looking at right now, for better or worse. So it's like, that's your only reaction to. Now maybe she reacted to it more in her lives. I don't have time to go and watch an hour long Candace Owens live every few days. That's where it's, you take something that could have been like 20 minutes and drag it out to an hour. I don't have time to watch all of that, but that's going to be your primary response. You're not going to talk about anything else this man said. You're not going to talk about his interpretation of the events or anything. You're just going to focus on this text message conversation and point out, well, you should have done this. I mean, to me, that's a little irresponsible of Candace, but I guess it's her show. She can do as she pleases. Next, we're going to move on to something that I have real, genuine questions on, and that's the behavior of TPUSA insider Mikey McCoy immediately after the shooting. We can see in this video here, as soon as the shot rings out, Mikey McCoy, who's right here, he doesn't even have time to see what happens to Charlie, and he immediately picks up he doesn't dial the phone. He picks it up, and starts walking away. He doesn't see if Charlie's okay. He doesn't really see if he got shot. He doesn't see anything. He just immediately picks up his phone and starts beelining in the opposite direction of where this shooting had just happened. So let's watch this. It's super interesting.
Violence. Great.
There he goes. I mean, he's on the phone and he's walking away, and it was immediate. After the shot rings out, boom! It's like boom, shot, phone, and then he turns and he doesn't even see what Charlie's doing. He doesn't even see if he's okay. This little skinny pencil neck guy just turns and starts walking away. And these are the people. This guy right here. There he goes. There he goes. He's on the phone. He's walking away. And here we see at the end, he just keeps walking away. And this is the person that TPUSA insiders came out and they did a whole a podcast in Charlie's old studio, and they're like, Mikey McCoy's a hero. You should have seen him that day. He was just, oh man, they just keep talking this guy up. It's like, a hero? He was clearly from what we can see on that video, he was on the phone with somebody ahead of time. And as soon as that shot rings out, as soon as the rifle report hits and Charlie flinches and moves back, he doesn't even wait to see if Charlie's okay, if he's bleeding, what's going on, what the situation is. This guy, this little pencil neck guy, gets on the phone and makes a beeline away from the action. That's not the action of a hero. That seems like somebody who is watching and waiting to see what happens and then immediately turns around. And we're going to see who he actually was on the phone with. We're going to watch another We're going to watch another Ian Carroll live. And I'm sure you guys have seen this. Pastor Rob McCoy, there was a lot of hoopla about a deleted sermon, while somebody was live streaming, and then Ian's chat got spammed with bots when Ian was talking about this. So very interesting here. But this is that guy's father. This is Mikey McCoy's father, Rob McCoy. And he's going to tell us what happened in that video that we just saw.
CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and Mikey's the Chief of Staff. Those are his kids. And I'm watching, the minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck.
How did he know that? How did he know that Charlie had been shot and he doesn't even see it? He immediately turns around and walks away.
I'm going to come back to that statement in just a second.
He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him.
He said he had blood all over him and he was directing. First of all, he doesn't have blood on him. We see him so far away from Charlie's car as they're exfilling him. Okay, so there's no way he has blood on him. And he's not directing anybody. He just got on the phone and started walking away. So if you want to direct some real legitimate questions, get them off of Charlie Kirk's security team, who's actually an extremely competent security team. They did a 16-second from the time of the shooting to getting Charlie out of there, beginning that exfil procedure. Okay, that's a great security team that could have saved his life if that wound wasn't so devastating. Get your questions off of Charlie's security team and focus it on Mikey McCoy, this fucking pencil dick who immediately heard the shot, didn't even see what had happened, picked up the phone to talk to somebody who he had pre-dialed and then made a beeline in the other direction. Direct your questions at that guy and not Charlie's security team. The next thing we're going to talk about is there's been lots of talk on a possible intelligence agency, maybe Israeli Mossad connection to this Charlie Kirk hit. We're going to talk about a potential security vulnerability that Charlie's security team had, and really probably any high-level security team would have had, and that is the use of technology, smartphones, and an app to help with the security. So let's listen to Brian Harpole talk about how Charlie's security team uses this security app.
The hard conversations, the sharing of information, the conference calls, the data sheets, and we put that in a timeline on an app, so that this all goes up, and every guy that's on that job can see all the intel that comes in. It's a decentralized command model for the company, and so anybody can make command decisions for the betterment of the client or the team, and so everything goes on that app.
Everything goes on the app. And he goes on to talk about how changes are time-stamped that people make. But basically here, what he's saying is all of the decisions, all of the information that they have, everything regarding Charlie Kirk's security goes on to an app. Okay? And we know that no security network is 100% private. If you want to break in and get some files, some hard copies of things, if you've got a file cabinet with some files in it, you have to physically go there and get those files with your hands. You have to get them. An app, putting this stuff on an app is like, any hacker. It doesn't matter if you're in Beijing or Singapore or Johannesburg, South Africa, or Belarus or London or wherever, you have access potentially to this information on this app. I mean, some questions we could really have. I mean, if we're just asking questions, I'm gonna play Candace Owens here for a second. If we really want to just ask questions here, who makes this security app? Is there any backdoors to it? Is there, what phones are these security personnel using? Are they using their own personal phones, or are they using a special phone given to them from the security detail? Now, let me be very clear. If you're just like if you're like a professional athlete or a movie star, you probably don't need to think this deeply into your security, okay? Because compromising an app like this or compromising someone's phones takes a lot of firepower, a lot of keyboard firepower. A really high-level hacker, likely somebody associated with an intelligence agency. So, I mean, just your run-of-the-mill, celebrities don't need to probably think this deep about their security, but potentially somebody, and of course, again, hindsight's 2020, but potentially somebody like Charlie Kirk would have. If I was a high-level political figure, I would not want my security team using an app on their phone to share and plan out the security, because then essentially you give a window into anyone that could hack that app. You could show that this hacker essentially your entire security plan, what everyone's job is, what's going to be covered, what's not going to be covered, and it just gives them a blueprint of exactly, okay, here's a security vulnerability, right? To further illustrate this, I want to bring up an interview of the former President Barack Obama talking about the kind of phone that he had when he was president, okay? And this would be somebody here, Mr. Obama, that would have to be very concerned about the types of things that I just talked about, okay? Let's let Obama tell us what kind of phone he had.
Finally, this year, they said, good news, Mr. President, we're going to give you a smartphone instead of a BlackBerry. I thought, all right, this is cool. I've been seeing Malia and Sasha doing all this. Michelle's got 3 of them. She's texting and all this. So I'm excited. I get the thing, and they're all like, well, Mr. President, for security reasons, there's a great phone, state-of-the-art, but it doesn't take pictures. You can't text. The phone doesn't work. You can't play your music on it. So basically, it's like, does your 3-year-old have one of those play phones?
That is the type of phone and the level of technological integration that high level people like the president, like high level political figures, that's what they go through. Okay, so it really makes you wonder, did this security app that they were using have anything to do with it? I mean, if you want to say that Charlie Kirk's assassination was a high level intelligence agency hit, did this app that his security team was using, did that have any effect on it? Who knows? Guys, if you like the video, like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.